It's giving psychopath. It's actually giving psychopath. I'm sorry. Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well and that you had a great week. To all of my house guests, come in, make yourselves at home, make yourselves comfortable. If you're passing by and you'd like to become a house guest, don't forget to hit subscribe and activate all of your notifications. I'm Chez, this is Chez M0i. Welcome to my place. Okay guys, so it's been another interesting week. Anyway, no more talk. Let's just get into this video. In addition to current global conflicts resulting in the displacement and death of ordinary citizens and interrupted supply chains, in addition to the questionable cognizance of the leader of the free world, in addition to people going on shooting rampages in churches and during street celebrations, in addition to senior royals facing serious health challenges, we have now been told, unsurprisingly, that we're in another recession. Now, you'd think all of these situations and others that I haven't mentioned would be more than enough to keep the horde of British journalists very busy. But there appears to be a contingent specifically dedicated to making the British public angry for no reason by reporting on every detail of what Harry and Meghan get up to. Before I continue, let's clarify what's meant by counterproductive.
Counterproductive.
According to the Collins English Dictionary, something that is counterproductive achieves the opposite result from the one that you want to achieve. Now, the beginning of the week saw the reveal of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's revamped website. Now, personally, I think the refresh is great and it makes sense to serve as a portal to the other corporate entities under their remit. Apparently, the couple are cashing in on their royal status.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex are beginning the countdown to next year's Invictus Games. They arrived in Canada tonight, but have left in their wake another royal row. This week they launched their new website, sussex.com, which features an unmistakably royal coat of arms. And our royal editor Chris Shipp joins me now, and there has been criticism, inevitably I guess, that they're cashing in on royal connections.
Well, It's their name. That was my first thought when I read about this criticism of Harry and Meghan's website. Let's take a quick look at it. They launched it on Monday. It's called Sussex.com. And across the top, as you can see, the office of Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Once again, it's their name. Why is it so controversial? Well, of course, Harry and Meghan have got plenty of critics out there, and if they can find a way to criticise them, they will. Now, one of the things they were saying is that they are just overplaying their royal connections here. They've got listed their son, Prince Archie, and a daughter, Princess Lilibet. Again, that's their names. They are the grandchildren of the monarch. They're entitled to be called Prince and Princess. But there is something about a coat of arms on this website, which is the coat of arms created for Meghan when she married Harry. And I say everyone's going, well, why is her coat of arms on it, not his? I've contacted their office. They claim it's their marital one, but everything that I've looked at, it looks very much like it's hers. But again, I think anything that Harry and Meghan do just stirs up a bit of controversy. This is an example, a website that they've created. But as you say, they're in Canada very shortly and focusing on Harry's and Victor's games.
All right, Chris, thank you.
So let me get this straight. They are a Duke and Duchess. Their children are a prince and princess, but they're cashing in on their royal status. Okay. The other thing that the media were up in arms about was the coat of arms. I can't comment any further because I'm not an expert in heraldry. For me, the important thing is that the content is engaging and that it clearly and concisely conveys what the purpose and the result of their work is. And I believe the site does just that. This is example number 1 of the media's efforts, which may be counterproductive, because what they've more than likely done is generate greater interest in what Harry and Meghan are doing by driving more traffic to this new website. Take a look at this thumbnail. Now, just in case some of you may have forgotten, Kate, that's William's wife, is destined to be Queen of England, and as such, should she not be at the top of the relevance scale? As we know, the media is always ready to remind us that Meghan is lower down in the pecking order in relation to Kate, who, at this point, is still MIA, but there seems to have been zero interest from the media. Does that mean that she's lost her shine? Has she lost her appeal? Has she lost her magnetism? Is she not exciting enough for the media anymore? I'm very curious. If these people have absolutely zero interest in the Sussexes, please can someone explain to me why they constantly talk about them? Is it me? I actually don't understand. We are not interested in the Sussexes. You can clearly see that. But these guys talk about them all the time. You can also see from the thumbnail that they have said in their caption that Harry and Meghan have gone to Canada to ski, knowing full well that's not the purpose of their trip to Canada.
Harry and Meghan were in Whistler, where the Invictus Games are due to take place a year from now. It was a chance for them to meet some of those in training for the Games, which Harry founded, and get involved into. Warren Nettleford reports.
Out in the cold, Prince Harry and his wife Meghan were keen to embrace others on Valentine's Day in Canada. Next year, Whistler and Vancouver will host the Invictus Games, the sporting competition that was set up for injured service personnel by Prince Harry. Since 2014, this international multi-sport event has provided, in the Prince's words, an opportunity to demonstrate a life beyond disability.
You unlocked your potential and performance, and you understood the power of working as a team. Ultimately, you were part of a purpose larger than yourself, and that feeling felt good.
The late Queen was a keen advocate for the Games alongside the Prince, and since then, the Games have continued to grow. Next year's competition will see winter sports as part of the event for the first time. 500 competitors from 20 nations are expected to compete. And so, Prince Harry was keen to have a go on this sit ski, which will feature on the slopes next year. This latest appearance by the couple follows the launch of their new website, Sussex.com, where they've outlined their wish to shape the future through business and philanthropy. It seems that work starts now. Warren Nettleford, ITV News.
Now, even if the media want you to believe that Harry and Meghan are irrelevant, there are hundreds of disabled and injured military veterans whose lives and their families' lives have been forever changed because of the Invictus organisation. I mean, this is the poison that you're being drip fed on an almost hourly basis. And people are just ready to swallow this nonsense. And they call themselves journalists. How dare they? It's an insult to real journalists who exercise objectivity. It's absolutely disgusting as far as I'm concerned. But I'll leave you guys to draw your own conclusions. This is example number 2 of the media's efforts, which may be counterproductive, because what they've more than likely done is generate much greater interest in Invictus 2025, which I personally am looking forward to. Incidentally, do you remember when I said this in last week's video? Whether it was 30 minutes or 45 minutes, it's irrelevant. The fact that he got on a plane to come, he still loves his dad. That's his dad. That's his only living parent. That's his only remaining parent. Okay. Whatever's happened between them, that is still his dad. And I have a feeling they speak more regularly than we know, because the media always want to create this division. Well, this is also what happened in Canada.
Lunchtime News with Geraint Vincent.
Good afternoon. In his first interview since the King's cancer diagnosis, Prince Harry has spoken of his hopes of reconciliation with his family. Speaking to American television, the Duke of Sussex discussed the moment he first spoke to King Charles about his illness and made a plan to visit him. Harry flew to London and had a brief meeting with his father last week. Now back in North America, the Duke said any illness brings families closer together. Olivia Guthrie reports.
Are you quite competitive? Sometimes. Depends on what it is.
Prince Harry courting the limelight in the US. The Duke of Sussex giving an exclusive interview to Good Morning America.
Don't make international news, okay?
It comes off the back of a flying visit to see his father last week, after the King called Harry to tell him about his cancer diagnosis.
I jumped on a plane and went to go and see him as soon as I could. Look, I love my family. The fact that I was able to get on a plane and go and see him and spend any time with him, I'm grateful for that.
Harry kept away from the cameras when he was in the UK, and also from the Prince of Wales, leading to more speculation about strained relations between brothers. Harry hinted the King's condition could help.
An illness in the family can have a galvanizing or sort of reunifying effect for a family.
Absolutely.
Is that possible in this case?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, throughout all these families, I see it on a day-to-day basis. The strength of the family unit coming together.
Prince Harry and Meghan have been in Canada this week, marking a year countdown to the next Invictus Games. The daredevil Duke braving the skeleton bobsled, reaching downhill speeds of 60 miles an hour, a pace Harry says he's used to with 2 young children.
The kids are doing great. The kids are growing up like all kids do, very, very fast. They've both got an incredible sense of humour and, make us laugh and keep us grounded every single day like most kids do. So, I'm just very grateful to be a dad.
Prince Harry says he and Meghan have focused on their own projects and their family. But could his latest courting of the US media be a slippery slope for Harry, away from patching things up with the royal family? Olivia Guthrie, ITV News.
Even the commentary of the ITV correspondent has negative accusatory undertones, in my opinion, which again highlights the fact that this couple's words and actions are always subject to the most severe scrutiny. And as I've said before, this couple is damned if they do and damned if they don't. Also, earlier this week, it was announced that Meghan has signed a podcast deal with Lemonada Media, which will enable her to launch a new show and redistribute Archetypes to all platforms. This is the same Archetypes podcast, originally aired on Spotify, which the naysayers said was a failure, even though it had over 10 million downloads and debuted as Spotify's #1 podcast in 47 countries around the world. I have never heard of an industry-recognised, award-winning failure. Have you? Two quotes spring to mind in relation to this news. Number one, there's more than one way to skin a cat. I don't know where that originated from. And number two, when one door closes, another one opens. However, we see that even with this announcement, some media publications still want to diminish Meghan's efforts.
Testing 1, 2. Whoa! I got a big thumbs up. I appreciate that. Okay, welcome to Archetypes. Let's do this. You ready?
This is example number 3 of the media's efforts, which may be counterproductive because what they've more than likely done is generate much greater interest in Archetypes and Meghan's new show, resulting in her projects potentially reaching an even wider audience. Now, when we talk about actions and efforts being counterproductive, what do you think these 3 media personalities have in common? Their careers have experienced a major setback after they thought it was a good idea to verbally bash Harry and Meghan, separately or as a couple. I haven't included Morgan in this list because his time hasn't yet come. However, if we go back a few weeks when Harry and Meghan were in Jamaica, Morgan appeared to be unusually quiet, and I didn't pick that up at the time. I'd seen that his colleagues on Talk TV were extremely vocal in expressing their normally toxic views, but Morgan appears to have made zero comment about this particular event, not even on Twitter. Now, I did an extensive search and I couldn't come up with anything. However, I am happy to be proved wrong. What I did find, however, was this interview from 2019 with Miss Jamaica, Toni-Ann Singh.
Okay, Miss Jamaica.
Hello.
I love Jamaica.
Really?
I
Me
love
too.
Jamaica. My friends, Chris Gale, the cricketer,
Yes.
Usain Bolt, the sprinter, all my favourite people come from Jamaica. So they'll all be watching, cheering you on.
Hello.
Why should you win? What's special about you?
I think I represent something special. A generation of women that are pushing forward to change the world. I wouldn't say I'm different from any other women on this stage, but I will say that my passion for women and pouring into them and making sure they have the same opportunities that I've had is something that sets me apart.
Who's the most inspiring woman for you in the world?
So you asked me a question to make me cry. Well, okay. The most inspiring woman to me is my mother. Now, I must say, if my mother and my father are the roots and I am the tree, then really any work that I do, anything that I'm able to change in the world, it is the fruit of their labor. I have watched her pour everything into me, even at the sacrifice of her own wants and her own needs, and that's why I'm able to sit before you today. Thank you.
Fabulous.
The thing that struck me was how enamoured he seemed to be with Miss Singh, and I imagine this is exactly how he felt during his alleged drink with Meghan in London. You know, that story he loves to regale people with, well, those who can be bothered to listen, whenever he gets the opportunity. Now, according to this article from The Voice newspaper published back in 2014, it would appear that some people were prepared to make Morgan an honorary Jamaican. Because he seems to have demonstrated his skills in understanding patois. Unsurprisingly, he received backlash for this. So if in fact he made no comment about Harry and Meghan's recent visit, it's not surprising that he would not have been prepared for the soul-shredding backlash that was headed in his direction if he did comment on Harry and Meghan's interactions with the Prime Minister and members of the Marley family. So I get it. You love Jamaica and you want to be allowed back there sometime. That was a bit cowardly, because it's the inconsistency for me. That's what this demonstrates. If you're going to disparage people for whom you have no regard, please have the courage of your convictions and be disparaging about them at every given opportunity. You can see from this image here, he made disparaging remarks about the royal family, saying that they were effectively racist. He's changed his tune considerably. He loved Meghan before and he can't stand her now. Where's the consistency? I understand very well that everyone reserves the right to change their mind. But Morgan seems to be so robust when he expresses his views. Like, he's so steadfast, he cannot be moved. And then all of a sudden, he'll do a complete 180. And it's like, well, why did you say that then? You know, 1 minute the royal family's racist, next minute the royal family's not racist. How dare Harry and Meghan say that? 1 minute he loves Meghan, he was so charmed by her, she was so charming. Next minute he can't stand her. It's very, very, very interesting. And with that said, I wonder how long it will be before I'll be adding his face to this mini gallery.
These last few days have been very, very special because it's been our first opportunity to have some friends, some family and some competitors here with the coaches as well, to be able to try out, in some instances, for the first time being on snow. Peacemaker, you're not here today, are you? No. I'm sure everyone's read about Peacemaker from the Nigerian team. He is quite remarkable. He spent 2 days up on the mountain. He had to be escorted off the mountain in between his training sessions, as he would have stayed up there if he could. But I'll tell you what, the smiles on the faces that I've seen over the last few days, it proves why we do what we do. And that was just with the competitors. Imagine what it's going to be like when friends and family get in a coach, get in a bus and head up to Whistler and get to spend hours or the whole day up in that beautiful mountain air. It is one of the most incredible things. I am so grateful to the entire organising committee and the government, both provincial, but every single government here in Canada, for making this possible, because we couldn't have done this without the support right from the get-go.
Isn't it interesting how the media hunts Harry and Meghan all over the world? They literally stalk this couple. It's giving psychopath. It's actually giving psychopath. I'm sorry. And this whole thing just reminds me of a video that I've seen recently on Instagram. Seen it on TikTok as well. I'm not a TikToker, but I've seen it on TikTok. Seen it on YouTube. It's all over social media. And it's the story of the eagle and the crow. And essentially, the eagle, which everyone knows is a bird of prey, flies to great heights for extended periods of time. The crow apparently is the only bird who dares to jump on the crow's back and starts pecking away at its neck in an attempt to bring the eagle down, basically defeat the eagle. And instead of the eagle trying to retaliate, instead of the eagle reacting, instead of the eagle making a fuss, the eagle simply flies higher and higher and higher. And the higher he goes, the thinner the oxygen gets. And he's used to it because that's his domain. The crow is not used to that. The crow is not used to flying high. So as the air gets thinner, the crow gets weaker and has to fall off. Can't hang on any longer. And this is how I view the media and Harry and Meghan. And it doesn't take a genius to determine which category each entity falls into. So I know that my community on this channel, we are a convocation of eagles. We are not a murder of crows, okay? We are like-minded. Otherwise you wouldn't watch these videos. You wouldn't waste your time. We're respectful on this channel, okay? We have standards on this channel. And I do these videos because I want to expose what's really going on. I don't know the ins and outs 100%. I only perceive what's going on. And what I see, I do not like. And I think we just have to accept the fact that this will continue. It's been going on for close to 7 years. 6-7 years. And everyone says, oh, you know, Camilla had to go through it, Kate had to go through it. I don't remember them having a sustained campaign of negative press. I don't remember that. I don't remember that at all. So it's just very, it's very telling. It's very, very telling. But you know what I like about Harry and Meghan? Despite the noise that goes on, despite, you know, media saying, oh, we're not interested in them, which is so contradictory. It really makes no sense. Despite all of that, Harry and Meghan will just let them continue to say what they have to say, because at the end of the day, they know what their mission is. They know what their purpose is, and they have to be focused on that, and they can't afford to be distracted. And this is why I will always have time for them. They don't just talk and nothing gets done, unlike other members of the royal family. Okay? They actually set out to do what they're going to do. And as much as the press want to downplay the Invictus Games, they can't. They didn't show this much interest before. Now all of a sudden, even in the year before the games, the next games take place, you've got British journalists flying out there to go and see what's going on. You weren't interested before when this games was founded, when the Queen gave it her support. Even when they did that promotional video, Harry and the Queen, and it was the Obamas when they were on the phone. British media wasn't interested then. So funny. I just find it hilarious. And like I said, it's giving psychopath right now. But you know what? It just says a lot about this couple, for me anyway. And I always say, if you don't have your haters, you're doing something wrong. Because why would you be interested in something that's not interesting? You know, in their vain attempt to try and bring this couple down. Every time they try to bring this couple down, they just soar higher and higher. And that's why I called this video Counterproductive Efforts. If you have an eagle mentality, type eagle in the comments in capital letters so I know who my people are. If your thoughts were provoked in any way, don't forget to give this a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet become a house guest, don't forget to hit subscribe and activate all of your notifications. In the meantime, I want to take this opportunity to thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and you shall catch me in the next video.
We all just trying to build a foundation. We all just trying to build a foundation. Yeah. Liquidity dry, I couldn't quit if I tried. It's been a ride through all the waves and the tides. Little emptiness inside from all them days with the guys. Try to mask it, but I know you see the pain in his eyes. All the lows and the highs, all the gray in the sky. Every reason I should throw away and swallow my pride. All my life been like a permanent grind of just deserving my shine. And you can't even tell until I push the curtains aside. Hey, and it's disturbing behind. But yo, y'all love to say it's worse in your mind. Still I'm searching to find something that's bigger than a verse or a rhyme. Find your wings and then the courage to fly. Cause we all just trying to build a foundation. We all just trying to build a foundation.